Hey everyone, Charles here. And first of all, thank you for stopping by my podcast. If this show inspires you, makes you think, or gives you that courage to jump into action, please help by donating to this show. Click the link in the description and donate. Your donation helps us with production and finding great guests moving forward. Thank you and enjoy.
You know you should be doing something different, right? Hey, I'm talking to you. Do you believe that you have the gift for greatness or have a special talent, but don't have the courage to take that next step? Always wondering how others made it look so easy. Well, welcome to Jump, the show that will bring you special guests just like you and me. How did they get the courage to jump into greatness, doing what they love and living the good life? So get ready to jump with your host, Charles Matthews Jr.
Yes. It's another show, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Jump. Now, hey, if this is your first time here, this is what it's all about. I'm not talking about jumping up and down. I'm talking about jumping into greatness, jumping into your future. What are you waiting for? I know a lot of you got talent. You're at the line. You want to open your own business, but you're scared. What are you doing? All right. So we've been talking about taking that step, moving forward. Now, some of you just opened up your new business. Some of you are going into business, but now you're at that moment. How do you cut it up? How do you get to that next level? Well, I got the man here for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give him a big round of applause, Samuel.
I love it. Man, Charles, how you doing today, pal?
How you doing, my friend?
Dude, I'm great, man. I love the applause. I love the intro too. You're making me want to step up my intro game now. That was awesome. Well done.
I appreciate it. Well, you listen, a guy like you that's coming on the show, we got to make it big. We got to give it all because my audience is going to get some tips, some tricks, and little things just to get your job going. Because you know what it is? You get your business, you're all excited, and then the fade happens. What's next?
Yeah. Well, the good news, Charles, is that you're not the first person that's ever started a business, and you're not the first person that's ever gone through the fade. In fact, every single entrepreneur goes through it. They just won't ever really admit it publicly. And, talking about it publicly means it's okay. Like, we've all gone through it. They're like, success leaves clues, man. So yeah, everybody comes in, they get that massive burst of energy at the beginning, and then they find themselves looking around going, well, oh dear, what do I do now? And that's kind of where I come in, man. That's what we do. So yeah.
All right, so let's start this right off the bat. Born and raised, where are you from?
A little town, a little village, a tiny little village called Westow in England. The closest place you'll find to it on the map will be York. And so I tell people I'm from York. No, it's not my native accent, man. I came out to Texas when I was 19, and my accent has just kind of found this nice flat spot in the middle of somewhere between British and American, and it seems to do well on podcasts. But yeah, I grew up tiny little village with a dream to be a professional drummer, and so that was my entire focus as a kid. And at 19 I got to realize that dream and be a drummer for a record company in Dallas. And so that's what got me started and got me kicked off. So a long story about being a drummer, but it all started as a kid with a dream that nobody told me I couldn't be a drummer, so I just went and did it.
Okay, so now I got envy. You know what I mean? I can see you on stage, traveling from location to location, big stages, small stages, everybody's screaming out, everybody's having a great time. So it started at what age?
Dude, like 6. I don't know. There was a piano in the kitchen, man. We didn't have like a lot when we were kids, but my parents somehow figured out that if you give kids musical instruments and books, they'll be quiet. And so, I didn't realize we were poor growing up. There was always books to read and there was always something to play. And having a piano in the kitchen, which was the main focal point of the house, and both my parents played music, and I gravitated to music. I got my teaching certificate when I was 17, and I was going to be a musician, and that was that. And I did, dude. I had an amazing career as a musician just from, because nobody told me I couldn't. And the ones that told me I wouldn't do it were the fuel for me to go do it. I was like, well, I'll show you. And I did, and dude, I mean, it's not like I don't play much music anymore. I still play with my friends. I still sit in on some studio sessions from time to time. I've got a little bit of a name left, but my name has transitioned more and more to small business and to the consulting and the podcasting world and away from music. But man, it taught me at 19 years old that you set a goal, you can go do it. You are responsible. If it's going to happen, you're going to be the one that makes it happen. And I learned that at a very early age.
Yeah, you kind of threw me off there because I was waiting for you. Said, my parents knew if you put an instrument in their kids. I thought you were going to say, they gravitated to music and everything. And you said it keeps them quiet.
It will. Yeah. I mean, because there's nothing else to do. So there's no... I didn't have video games, man. I had to go to my friend's house to play on their video games. And outside of working in the yard or working in the garage, in the garage for my dad, music was the way out. Music was what you did. You went to the store and you bought the books of the bands that you loved. You bought their music books. There was no watch it on YouTube and figure it out. You bought their music books and you sat down with the music and you sat down with the CD and you listened to it and you played it over and over and over. And finally, you can play it, so.
Is that where your drive for business came from then? Because you're sitting there, you have to learn from it. You have to go do this. Is that where you think your drive for business came from?
No. It's weird, man. I finally figured out where my drive for business comes from by watching my kids.
Okay.
And I love nothing more than solving puzzles. That's what I love to do. And business, you take your specialist skill set that makes up 10% of the business, being a lawyer, actually knowing the laws, probably about 10% of what you got to do. Being a plumber, actually knowing that which bit goes into what, that's about 10% of it. You still have your marketing to take care of. You've got your advertising, you've got your leads coming in, you've got to close sales, you've got all the infrastructure of a business that has nothing to do with being a lawyer or being a plumber. And it's all this really big puzzle. There's only so many parts. They all have to fit together. Every business needs them. And when you look at a business that's not working correctly and you take an assessment of all the parts that it should have, that's where the puzzle begins, because most of them are missing parts of a wheel. And so my affinity for business has nothing more. It's nothing more than the fact that I love figuring out puzzles and I never want the same day to happen twice. And when I'm working for somebody, I haven't had a job since 2004. But when I was working for people, I would calculate what I was making per hour, per minute, per second, per task that I was doing. I'm like, man, if I was doing this for myself, I could be making more than that. How can I do this for myself? And it all came down to asking over and over, how can I? Instead of saying I cannot, you change those words to how can I, and go figure it out. And my propensity for business and my love of business, it's purely based upon the love of solving problems. And when you solve a problem for somebody, be it a student or be it a client or be it a friend, and they look at you and there's that instant, you can see it in their eyes, you can see it in their face, their demeanor, the instant the light switches on and they get it and they understand the concept, they understand what you were teaching them and they take it and implement it. And that, to me, that's the gold. That's what I love. That moment where the light switches on for somebody else. And, it just led naturally to being in business because that was where I would get paid for solving problems and never the same problem twice.
So then how'd you come up with small business surgeon? What are you what are you dissecting then, if that's the question?
So the small business surgeon, it's such a cool story, but it had a nefarious intent, man. So I'm building a local business here in town, and I'm getting all this training on how to actually build local businesses, because everything I built in the past was mainly online stuff. I did a lot of internet marketing back in the day, and I'm back to doing that now. But I was building some brick and mortar businesses, and I'm like, man, how can I generate referrals? How can I generate organic traffic? How can I build an audience that knows me and likes me and trusts me? So like, again, quite nefariously. So they'll do business with my real estate company. And so, I come off a huge loss in 2017, and I started building a real estate company. And by the end of 2018, in a business that most people fail at, I had done almost $245,000 in gross commission income in my first year in real estate. And I'm looking to take that, and I'm looking to generate more money, more leads, more income. How can I do that? And the answer was build a group of people that have a common shared interest with you. And your listeners can do this. Like, it's so freaking straightforward. I want to say easy. It's not easy. It requires effort, but it's not difficult in that it's not hard to do. So you would set up a club based around something you enjoy. And seeing as how I had been in business since 2004 for myself, and I was putting together a real estate company, I thought, you know what? Let me put together a group of small business owners, because my ideal client, right, was just like me, 35 to 55 years old, multiple six-figure income, drives a truck, probably has a race car, likes whiskey, likes cigars, likes 90s rock music. We really dialed down what my client was, and it was just like me. I said, well, why don't I start a group for small business owners to come and talk about small business and wins and losses and all that good stuff. And then from there, I can say, well, thanks for coming, Mr. Small Business Owner. I'm Sam. I sell real estate, and I can help you sell real estate. So the intent of the group was to build the group to farm real estate clients based on having conversations and commonality around small business. Well, that worked really well, but what I found was there wasn't really a need among small business owners for real estate representation. Sure, they used me, but everybody who's anybody knows a real estate agent. And, there's a lot of good agents in my market. The top 5% of agents, there's probably 75 people in that 5%, and they can all do just as good a job as me. But what they weren't talking about was business itself. And so what I did when I first started the group was open up my calendar for coffee. And I started taking 1 to 2 coffee meetings a day with people from this group and said, just tell me about yourself. Tell me about your story. Who are you? What are you doing? Where are you hung up on? What can I help with? How can I help? Who do I know that can help you get over this? I just started providing value to business owners. And because I had been through obesity and alcoholism and losing a 7-figure business badly and going under, because I'd been through all that. And I was really the only person at the time that was willing to talk openly about the alcoholism, about the failed marriage, about losing such a large company that I built from scratch. And I talked openly about it and said, hey, yeah, this sucked. And here's what happened. And here's what I do now. And here's how I've pivoted. Other business owners started opening up to me in ways that I did not believe. I had no idea how many small business owners were really in the trenches every single day. I thought people that ran businesses knew what they were doing.
Yes.
We don't. Like, we know what we're doing up until the point that we don't know. And then we have to go find out. And the commonality there is you get to a point and you try it and you fail. And then you get back to that point, you try it, you take the lessons from the failure, and you succeed.
Right.
And that happens over and over and over in small business. And so the small business surgeon came about after, I'd been podcasting for about 4 years at that point. And I said, look, we got a generic podcast. It's a couple of co-presenters. We smoke cigars every week. We host it in a cigar lounge. It's great fun. But I wasn't monetizing it. It was just some lads messing about, talking about cigars. We bring on a guest, and it was fun, right? But I'm like, I want to monetize something.
Right.
And I want to be able to impact as many people as possible so they don't have to go through what I went through, because we all make the same mistakes. You get a little bit of money and you don't know how to control it or how to invest it or where it goes. The money's gone. You spend it. We all do it. Like, the first time you get proper rich, you go to the club and you spend it. Like, that's what it's for, right? That's what we've been working for. We're going to go spend this. We're going to spend this money, and then you get like a $20,000 and a $30,000 tab at the club, and your business partner pays it. And he's like, yeah, this is cool. And I'm like, geez, that's a lot of money. What the fuck are you doing? But then you look the next month and the checking account's filled up again. You're like, well, I guess it's okay.
Yeah.
But
Keep going.
In all reality, though, like making money is an art form, but keeping money is a science. And I was really good at art and I wasn't very good at science,
Okay.
and such happened to where now looking at the company that collapsed, I've taken the lessons from that and I've multiple times that money now from those lessons. But at that point, it was, the most painful thing that had ever happened to me. I went from multiple 5-figure a month income with a 7-figure company with 2 employees to like broke and underwater and being chased and living on a buddy's couch. It was like the worst shock to my system ever. But looking back, it was the best thing that had happened to me. Because see, money is a tool, and most of us use money, whether we know it or not, to amplify who we are. We become a bigger version of ourselves. So, is this an adult show or not an adult show?
It can be whatever you want, man. If we gotta bleep
okay,
bleep it out.
So if you're an asshole, money's just gonna make you a bigger asshole. That's it. And with me, if you're an alcoholic, right? What's it going to do? It's going to enable you to go buy more alcohol.
Yeah,
and live that life.
You're going out with the people, you're drinking, and you're partying. Yes.
Right. So I learned how to make money, but I didn't learn ever how to keep it and how to multiply it, how to grow it, and how to take care of people with it. And so the small business surgeon really came about after trying and succeeding quite nefariously to build a business owners group that I could sell real estate to, and then realizing that, hey, there's 80 other people could sell real estate to these guys, but there's only one small business surgeon that can actually help them through what they're going through. And so my group's like, I don't hate on anybody at all. However, it's like the anti-chamber of commerce. It's a safe space. You don't want to go in the chamber of commerce and say, I'm struggling. You don't want to, and in reality, in those rooms, you'll find successful guys. However, you'll also find the guys with the leased cars and the credit card payments that are behind and the fancy shoes and a fancy watch that are trying to sell you insurance so that they can get some money this month so that their past due rent can get caught up. Right? We all look like we're successful.
Right.
But when you start peeling it back, the majority of small business owners aren't. And they're all struggling. They're all fighting that fight. And my job now is just to give you some better tools so that you can go beat the boss and get to that next level. And then your ceiling, the boss you couldn't beat, the impenetrable ceiling, it becomes the floor and you just walk all over it and you go find another ceiling. Like, it's that simple.
Now,
but it's simple when you hear it out loud,
Someone said something to me one day and I'm like, okay, maybe it's true. Someone said, a new doctor, a new lawyer, they look good, they're in the suits, they're walking around in their coat, but they're so much in debt. And I said, why is that? And they're like, now they're at a certain level, they have to look that level. They have to drive the certain car. They have to be at that certain level. So they're paying for all these things, but they got bills like crazy, but there's a persona that they have to continue. Do you think that's what shows us, especially as men, we have to show that persona? I own my own business. I have to drive a certain car. I have to have a certain house. Does that put the stress on us?
Yeah. To a level. This thing is in levels, man. It's in levels. And when you surround yourself with people that play that game at that level, it's much different to when you surround yourself with people that have actual money. So I've got multiple 8-figure friends. I've probably got a few 9-figure friends that I don't really, we don't really talk about that thing. But I'm firmly in that 6 to 7-figure level. I'm not at the 8-figure level yet, but I got 8-figure friends. I got 9-figure friends, and most of my badass, wealthy friends wear blue jeans and t-shirts. Now they may accessorize with a nice Rolex, sure, and some nice Ray-Bans, sure. The majority of it is, a couple of $100 sneakers, $100 blue jeans, $50 t-shirt. When the need arises to wear a suit, you should wear a suit. You should dress up. Yes, there's a time and a place for stuff. But the majority of business that I'm involved with takes place in restaurants. It takes place over Zoom. It takes place at and the side tables at conferences and at meetups and at masterminds where everybody's wearing a hoodie and blue jeans. Like, you do not have to look a certain way to act that way and belong in that room. You have to know your stuff, and you have to be knowledgeable, and you have to speak clearly and speak confidently and anything else. And yeah, there'll be a point where image is important. However, I caution there, and it's a tale of my own. When I put money into my brand image at real estate, I decided that I was going to be the real estate agent that Remax or Century 21 or like any of these huge real estate brands would put on the front of their catalog. I was going to be that guy. I wore the suit. I had the little iPad carry around. I made videos of this and videos of that. And it was the realtor in the suit. And I'm like talking to people, and they're also in suits. And we acted out getting qualified for a mortgage and all this other stuff. And I'm wearing the suit, man. And what happened was, the people that wear suits and do business wearing suits knew immediately that I didn't belong. And the people that I resonate with were turned off from me because they don't resonate with guys in suits. So how you dress and how you style yourself and everything else is more a question of, how does my target audience dress? How does my target audience speak? How does my ideal client dress? And if you're an attorney, right, and your ideal client dresses in suits, then you need to dress in a suit and emulate your ideal client. But if you're an attorney and your ideal client is, let's say, a real estate developer,
right?
How does a real estate developer dress? Blue jeans, polo shirt, drives an F-250.
Yeah.
Who do they want to do business with?
Right.
A guy in blue jeans and a polo shirt, probably drives an F-250. That's who they're comfortable with. So it's not about projecting an image of who you want to be. It's about relating to your target audience and the people you're trying to connect with and being approachable to them. You've got to sell how they want to buy.
Sounds good. All right, let's check this out. It's now time for a rapid fire. We're going to get to know you a little bit more, my friend.
Okay, this is fun. This is fun.
This is what we're going to do. You get to choose what rapid fire questions I'm going to ask you. A, B, C, or D. But here's the thing. There's only 2 minutes on the clock. You can elaborate, but remember, you got to get through all the questions. So what would you like? A, B, C, or D?
My man, let's go in order. Hit it with A.
Hit it with A. All right. 2 minutes starts on the clock when I ask my first question. Here we go. What is your favorite drink?
Ooh, tea. Hot tea with milk in a cup, just like this.
When are you most productive?
I'm sorry?
When are you most productive?
Mornings. Dude, kill your freaking morning. Like, okay, if you don't have a morning routine, go and get one. Get up, right? Get up, exercise, journal, gratitude, school run, coffee, like, write it out, do it. Like, dude, I get a full work day done by about noon. And then my afternoon, like, it's very rare I record a podcast in the morning. Very rare. I think you're probably the second or third I've ever done in the morning. Most of the day, my heavy lifting is done by lunchtime. And then my afternoon is podcasts and meetings and a little bit more fun stuff. But, dude, mornings.
Get it done. Mm-hmm. Okay. What inspires you and why?
Oh, my goal list. I have the perfect life. I wrote it out. I read it at least twice a day. I manifest it driving down the road. And it is because everything I want to do in life is written down in front of me. And I just look at that and I read it every day and I go. That's what inspires me.
Summer or winter?
Ooh. So I'm going to live on a beach, but there's be mountains in the background.
Okay. Favorite cake?
Carrot cake from HEB.
Favorite number?
Oh man, it's 69.
There's
just no way around that. My girlfriend's she's gonna go mad when she hears this shit.
What was the worst subject in school?
Oh, music.
What was your best subject in school?
Science, definitely science.
And I'm going to give you 10 more seconds. Tell me about yourself in 5 words.
Gratitude.
There you go.
I'm just.
Well,
That's the secret, man. It's the secret. It's the secret to everything.
All right, everybody. Don't go nowhere. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back. CMJ Entertainment is a one-stop shop. CMJ Entertainment helps people do any type of events, and it's a marketing tool as well. So we'll cover everything from start to finish. If it's a wedding, we'll make sure your wedding is over the top. And if it's an event, we make sure that everybody gets information at the end of the day. Give us a call at 416-414-8964 or online, go to cmjent.com.
Hey, it's okay if you're driving or too busy to take notes. Charles has your parachute packed with all the info you need to jump into success. Check out the links section for all the tools you need to land safe. Now, let's keep falling with Charles and his special guest.
Yes. So before the break, we talked about numbers. We talked about your best school, but we also talked about how do you start your day? You're so passionate about getting the work done in the morning time. Just get it all done. You have the rest of your day to relax. That's when you're most productive. When you first wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do?
Like I shut off my alarm. I go to the restroom, I carry my phone with me, and I open my gratitude app. And as I deliver the morning goodness to the gods, I fucking write down minimum of 5 things I'm grateful for. And I stop and think why I'm grateful for them. And I know dude, I can't believe this stuff works, man. I grew up blue collar. I grew up masculine. I grew up stiff upper lip. I grew up don't show emotions. Don't talk about this stuff. Don't do that. Dude, the entire secrets of the universe and how you live your day, it's all based on finding things to be grateful for and wiring your mind that way. So the first thing I do is wire my mind with happiness, with the things I'm the most happy about. And that's it, man. It's like the most important thing there is because if you wake up, like you're a totally blank slate. So whatever thoughts come into your head the minute you wake up are the thoughts that you'll base your day around. That's it.
Like that.
That's where you set off, man. So that's what I do.
All right. I like that a lot. All right. So here's a question for you. I've always asked everyone in my guests, they always say, they can help this person or do this person, but not every client is their client. Mm-hmm. What is the best client for you? Who should be calling you if they need help? Who should be coming to you? What are you looking for? Man,
I'm looking to give. My ideal clients, and I've tripped up over this on podcasts before because I prefer working with men. That doesn't mean I don't work with women. And without getting into the sexist side of things, let's look at clients and say there's an emotional brain and there's an analytical brain. As a problem solver and a puzzle guy, I love selling and working with the analytical brain. And this was something I discovered in real estate. Again, how women buy houses generally is far different to how men buy houses. And so it's the same in business. And there I've got some wonderful women entrepreneurs groups that I've partnered with that I send female clients to because they can relate better to them. But my ideal client is generally, which is strange because I get a lot of younger listeners as well on my show, but my ideal client's generally 35 to 55, 60 years old. He'll be male, a small business owner. And, I deal with a lot of service industry guys. We're talking, you might have a $3 to $5 million turnover. You might have 10 or 12 staff. You might be a little bit bigger than that. You might be a little bit smaller than that. But generally it's the guy that's working as hard as he can, And yet at the end of the day, he still feels like he's spinning his wheels. He feels like there's not enough money to go around at the end of the month. And you look down, you say, well, shit, I ran $3 million this year. Why am I still broke? Those are my kind of clients, because it generally tends to be a few tweaks here and a few tweaks there. And you can take that business from just existing to being immensely profitable, just from exploiting mistakes that these guys are making with their marketing and really with their customer service and their brand re-engagement, actually, coming back to customers and stuff. So I just, guys below that level, I do charge a significant amount to do stuff, but they benefit from the free group that I've got, the small business owners network that I have. They can benefit from the podcast. They can benefit from the YouTube channel. So there's stuff out there for every single entrepreneur that's trying to improve. But really from working with people, we got to start between 3 and 5 million in revenue, and then kind of up from there to help them out with their game. But man, I just want to pour value into the entrepreneur community purely because it's done so much for me. Over the last 4 or 5 years, the mentors I've had, some of them free, many of them paid, have just poured relentlessly into me, and they've improved. Like, dude, I had $1 million, $6-7 million company before I ever hired a mentor. And yet the amount of love and the amount of information and knowledge and time that I've received from those mentors makes me be okay and actually want to give. And I'll give and give and give. And then, we charge clients money for stuff. But the majority of what I do is, how can I impact small business owners and how can I help entrepreneurs? And most of the people I impact, most of the people I help, I don't get paid for. I get paid in kind. It's a karma thing. I put greatness out in the universe, and the universe pays me for it, man. It's great.
All right, let's have some fun before we let you go.
Okay.
Now time for Pick 3.
It's now time for pick 3. So what's going to happen right now is you're going to pick your last 3 questions before we let you go. So give me a number between 1 and 13. 3 numbers between 1 and 13.
4, 5, and 6.
Ooh, there we go. All right, that's been different. Here we go. What are some great resources that have helped you along the way?
Networking groups, man. Business networking groups. They're not free. Probably the best group that has helped me has been Ryan Stewman's group, Apex, out of Dallas. They are very affordable for what you learn. I would highly recommend those guys. But in all honesty, YouTube, Udemy, Khan Academy, Google, like, you can do this. Like, it's not rocket science. It's not complicated. It's just putting one foot in front of the other, But for life-changing stuff, it has been the Apex group out of Dallas.
All right. What have you read or listened to that's inspired you?
Man, I am just voracious reader, dude. I love to read. Probably the best book I've read in the last few months has been, it's actually sitting right here on my desk. I was not asked to plug this, but Alex Hormozi's book, $100 Million Offers. It's a fantastic book. And what it does is it breaks down the psychology of an offer and why people click what they click and how to move them through a funnel and engage them as buyers and then re-engage them and keep them involved. And, this is stuff that I had experience of before, but this book, $100 Million Offers, it's written at a level that everybody can understand. It's a phenomenal book. I highly recommend it.
All right. Last one, number 6. Who has 3 people in your life that's influenced you? Very influential in your life. Who are the 3 people?
I would say Mr. Thomas, the head of physical education and upper school at my high school, who was I hope he's still alive. I do. I sometimes, when I go home, I try and keep up with my teachers. And he was the guy, the back of the Pink Floyd Brick in the Wall, where there's the guy shouting, "If you don't eat," that was Mr. Thomas. Hugely influential in my childhood. One of my other childhood teachers, Mrs. Wellard, she passed away maybe 15 years ago now, but she was the teacher that made us do rote math, like out loud math. She is the reason my mental arithmetic, I can calculate percentages in my head because of my elementary school teacher. Mm-hmm. And then, dude, honestly, it feels like a disservice to only mention 3 because my entire life has been improved exponentially by seeking out mentors, paying mentors for their time. But I would the 2 that get the biggest shout outs would be Ryan Stuman, and you can check out his stuff. He's at hardcorecloser.com, and then Andy Frisella, which of course, I'm sure everybody's heard of. I'm a huge Andy Frisella fan. I listen to the show, I share the show, and he is on my list of 25 dream podcast guests. So putting that out in the universe as well, hoping his team hears that. So, yeah.
All right. So before we let you go, my friend, we talked about it before we started this show. You got a new site, everything's brand new. Put it out there so everybody can let you know where they can find you, how they can get in touch with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So my website is smallbusinesssurgeon.com, Instagram, Small Business Surgeon, Facebook, Small Business Surgeon, everywhere, YouTube, the lot. It's just Small Business Surgeon. And you can go to the website. You can fill out a little form for a quick 15-minute health check of your business, if that's something you want to do. And the podcast drops twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. So yeah, thank you, Charles, for having me on, man. It's been an absolute pleasure being here.
No, it's a pleasure for me, my friend. Now, everybody, like I always say, you didn't have to listen, but I'm so glad you did. What did you learn today? It's all about how you take your business to that next level. Is it time to cut it up? Is it time to switch it over? What are you doing? If you need help, Small Business Surgeon, he's here to help you out. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time. Hey, hope you had a great time listening to the show. If you think I did a great job, please buy me a coffee. I still got a lot of work to do. We would love to hear from you, your feedback, so please click the link and leave us a review. You can help us grow by following us on all social media platforms and sharing this link. Once again, it's time for you to jump. Success is waiting.